American Red Cross volunteers in the Quad Cities and West Central Illinois, they responded to 6 house fires in the past week, offering assistance to 18 people in communities like Davenport, Muscatine, and Rock Island. Joining me in the studio this morning is Brian Williamson with the Red Cross. Brian, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, it does seem like a lot of people that you guys are helping out in just 1 week's time. I know we go through different cycles and spurts where that happens, but talk a little bit about what the Red Cross and Red Cross volunteers can really help out with in this time of need.
Sure. So Red Cross volunteers are there to help folks with their immediate needs following a disaster. Home fires are actually the most frequent disaster that we respond to, and so that may be sometimes just being there to listen to somebody, but it's also helping with financial assistance for a temporary place to stay, giving them something to eat, and then also mental health services as needed, but really just being there right after a disaster to make sure that we can help.
All different types of support being offered by the Red Cross. And you guys also offer a lot of preventative safety tips, and that's kind of what we're talking about today. It's going to be time to celebrate Independence Day. Now, we're going to start with fireworks. According to the Red Cross, the safest way to enjoy them is just to let the professionals do it. We've also had a lot of dry weather, so drought is a concern, a fire concern, and things like that. We know people are going to be setting off their own fireworks. Either way, we can't help that. So you guys kind of provided some safety tips and some steps for people. Never give fireworks to small children. That might be kind of an obvious one for a lot of people.
For sure, that's definitely an important one to follow there. And you mentioned the dry weather. Certainly, if you have to do it on your own, if you're going to do it on your own, make sure you have that water source available. And really, those ones that don't go off, don't try to go and relight it. Those duds that don't quite happen, just leave them there, because sometimes that can have a very short fuse and could cause an injury.
Absolutely. Okay, and so both of those are on the list. Keep a supply of water close by. And light only one firework at a time, so don't try to put on kind of your own pyrotechnic show.
Right, we go back to what you said. It's best to leave these to the professionals. That's always going to be recommendation number one. But if you have to do it, the ones that you had up there, certainly very good to follow. We want everybody to enjoy 4th of July. You just want to do it safely, that's all.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the other ones on the list is just making sure that you're storing them in kind of a cool, dry place. I think a lot of people will pick up the fireworks, they'll put them in the trunk, it'll be 95 degrees outside, and that'll also maybe just something to keep in mind if you're purchasing your own.
Absolutely. It's always best to be as safe as you possibly can, and again, if you can, just leave it to the pros. That's why they're pros, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's talk about grilling. So that is something, it's a big grilling weekend, and you guys have some different tips when it comes to being safe on the grill, keeping it out in the open. I mean, I think we had as early or as recent as last summer or something like that, where somebody actually had the grill like inside the house. I don't know. Never a good idea to do that.
And a lot of times you will see where grills are just right next to a outside wall of a home or underneath an awning, and that's unfortunately not the safest route to go. We just talked about home fires being the top disaster that we respond to, and that's the last thing we want, is for your 4th of July barbecue to turn into a home fire. So definitely leave that grill out in the open. You also want to make sure that you're not really having anybody near the grill except yourself, right? Maybe a pet or somebody might, a little kiddo might come up there and accidentally, touch a dial, and you want to make sure to keep people away.
It is true, because I think a lot of times everyone's like, I know how to use a grill. I've been using a grill, but really, when you are having company over, you are having a party, some of these things do fall by the wayside. You're having a good time and you're distracted, and you just want to make sure that everybody stays away from a dangerous area. So.
And if you're the grill person there in charge, take care of yourself too. They make the nice long-handled tools there. Don't be out there with the ones that you might use over a stove inside. Give yourself a little extra buffer there for when you're flipping your burgers or throwing the hot dogs around. Just be safe while you're there.
Absolutely. Okay, so all of those tips you can just find on the Red Cross website, but they also have additional water safety tips. This is water, beach, picnic safety, water park safety. You can find that by heading to redcross.org/water safety. Also, we started off with home fires when you first started the segment, redcross.org/fire. And this one is important. So if anybody that needs help after a house fire or any type of disaster, you can always call 800 Red Cross. Brian, thank you so much for being here today and talking with us.
My pleasure, and happy 4th to yourself and to everybody out there too.
Yeah, some great reminders, so thank you. Well, the National Weather Service